The stock market jumped like a spring in the month of March, with the Dow climbing nearly 7%, the S&P nearly 8%, and the Nasdaq up an astounding 10% in the last 30 days, which can be cause for concern for us dividend investors. But nevertheless, there are still cheap stocks to be found out there. Two in particular we'll be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, my friends, what is going on? It's so great to see you guys. My name is Ryan Williams, and on this channel, we talk about how to create passive income and reach financial freedom by investing in dividend stocks. I've been documenting my investing journey here on YouTube for the last probably year and a half or so, and I've got to say, one of my favorite things about the journey so far is being able to share it with all of you guys. Now, as far as my portfolio goes, as you can see, it's currently valued at $36,196.41, and it's a pretty good day on the market. I'm up just over 1%, a gain of, over $350, almost $370, so that's pretty sweet. Now, going over to this page right here, you guys can see I'm up nearly 10% overall in this portfolio, and I've been consistently contributing and building this portfolio for the last 2 years, which is not a really long period of time, and so I'm happy with these results so far. And just so you guys can see how much income this portfolio is bringing in, it's currently sitting at about $1,640, which equates to about $135, $136 every single month. And I anticipate this number to go up as the weeks go on and as the year goes on, because every single week I'm buying more stocks. I'm investing $150 every week into this portfolio, and I'm really hoping that by the end of 2022, I'll be up over $2,000 in annual dividend income. That's my goal here. And as far as what I purchased this week in this portfolio, as you guys can see on the screen, I usually end up buying 3 stocks every single week, but this week I only bought 2. I invested $75 into Starbucks and picked up 0.87 shares of that. And as you guys can see here, my position with Starbucks is currently down about 10%, which is one of the reasons I'm buying this stock so heavily, just so I can lower my cost basis in this position. And then next up, the second stock that I bought this week is Snap-on. I invested another $75 into that and got 0.36 shares of that bad boy. And once again, just like Starbucks, I'm in the red with this position, so I'm buying now to lower my average cost per share. And with both of these guys, that brings the total contributions to the week to exactly $150, which, like I said just a moment ago, is pretty much how I operate every single week. Anyway, guys, moving on. Today we are going to be honing in on Williams-Sonoma, ticker symbol WSM, and Stanley Black & Decker, ticker symbol SWK, which are 2 stocks that I think are looking like pretty good buys as we make our way into this upcoming month of April. Now, starting with Williams-Sonoma, for those of you who are not familiar with this company, it is a line of retail stores specializing in kitchenware and other home goods. And I actually didn't realize this until recently, but also under their umbrella are companies like Pottery Barn, West Elm, and Rejuvenation, all of which are very popular in the realm of home furnishing. But it's a very cool company, and getting into Williams-Sonoma's share price performance in the last year, guys, they're down nearly 12%. In the last 6 months, they are down 23.68%. In the last 30 days, they actually have jumped up 8.3%. And then in the last 5 days, they've actually seen a really steep decline, down over 11% just this week. Now, although this company has seen like a pretty big jump in the last 30 days, guys, it's still looking very affordable. And scrolling down a little bit, you can see that the PE ratio is in the single digits, 9.65. And just for some context for you guys out there, an affordable PE ratio, or one that we would like to see for a company like this, is somewhere under 20. Any PE ratio under 20 could indicate some affordability or some sort of discount for, the stock we're looking at. Maybe not, maybe so, but it's definitely worth a deeper dive if you see a low PE ratio. And on top of this potential affordability, Williams-Sonoma also announced a dividend raise of 10%, which is very sweet, and brings me to the next point. What is going on with this company's dividend? Now, if we go over to the dividend scorecard page right here, we can see that the dividend yield is pretty average, 2.13%, but where they really shine are the next 3 metrics. The payout ratio, which tells us how much free cash flow they're paying out to the dividend, is very low, 17.44%. So they're able to pay a nice dividend and still retain a lot of those earnings to further the growth of the business. That's great to see, and could indicate some more dividend growth coming our way in the future. And moving on to the next metric, the 5-year growth rate, this is very high, 11.93%. So not only does this company pay a dividend, but every single year they're paying more and more pretty aggressively, really increasing the amount that they're paying in the dividend. And the dividend growth history is also pretty nice too. 12 consecutive years of growth, and I want to see how many years of payments do they have under their belt. So they've been growing the dividend for 12 years, but they've been consistently paying it for 15 years. So 3 of those years they weren't growing it, it, but they were still paying it. So that's some pretty good consistency, I think. And the big question here is whether or not it is at a deep enough discount or a good enough value to buy in at today. And to help determine that, we can go through what is called a discounted cash flow calculation. And essentially what this is, guys, this basically gives us a fair value for the stock today based on how much cash flow we anticipate for it to do in the future. And as you can see on the screen, guys, I did one of these calculations and got a fair value of about $200 per share, which if my numbers are correct, and keep in mind they could not be, but if they are, that means that this stock is currently at a near 37% discount, which is a very steep discount. And real quick, guys, I got to give a big shout out to my good friend Jacob Morris, who has a pretty banging channel here on YouTube. I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're into dividend stocks and investing in general. He actually put together this spreadsheet which allowed me to do this discounted cash flow calculation. And I'll include a link in the description to his video kind of going through this spreadsheet if you guys want to check it out. But it's been a very handy tool. Jacob, thank you so much for sharing this with the community. But going back to Williams-Sonoma, guys, it's looking like it's at a pretty nice discount right now. So if you're looking for a good stock in the consumer discretionary sector, this might be one to consider. All right, guys, next up we have Stanley Black & Decker, which is a company in the industrial sector that manufactures all sorts of tools. And in addition to the brands present in the company name, Stanley in Black & Decker, they also own other brands like DeWalt, Craftsman, Mac Tools, Bostitch, and a handful more. And overall, guys, Stanley Black & Decker is a beast of a company that is currently beaten down in share price. And diving a little bit deeper into that, you guys can see in the last year, it's down nearly 30%. Huge drop in the last year. In the last 6 months, so basically from, what is that, October till now, they're down 25.5%. In the last 30 days from the beginning of March till now, they're down another 10%, almost 11%. And then just this week, guys, they're down almost 9% actually just in the last 5 days, just this week, which is a pretty big drop if I do say so myself. And you'll have to excuse me if you've heard me talk about this before on this channel, because I do from time to time, and it might seem counterintuitive, but it really is good to see these stocks coming down in share price. And I'll explain why. I mean, you might look at this and think, oh, the Stanley Black & Decker, maybe something's going wrong with the company. They're going down in share price. That's not good. It's not a good investment. But on the contrary, guys, we can actually see that this company is still growing pretty well. Going over to the financials page, getting into some of their financial statements, we won't spend too long on this, but we can see that despite the stock coming down in share price, they're still growing in revenue pretty consistently for the last 10 years. Okay, scrolling down, profitability is increasing. Look at this gross profit going up as time goes on. And then also scrolling down, looking at the net income, I mean, at least from 2018 until now, this is really going up. So while the stock is becoming more affordable and getting cheaper, it's still putting up some really good numbers. And the fundamentals of this business look really strong, which is really when you buy a stock, when you consider a potential investment, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for growth within the company over a long period of time. And just looking at these few stats right here, and there's so many more we could go into, but it looks to be in a really great shape. And another reason that this is good is because of the dividend. Okay, so in the case of Stanley Black & Decker, guys, no matter what the share price does, we're still getting $3.16 per share every year from the dividend, which means, guys, that when the stock is down 30%, when it's at this 30% discount, we're able to buy that cash flow or create more income and invest less money to buy the same amount of dividend income. So I would rather buy the stock at $138 and get $3 of income versus buying it at, for example, $200 per share and getting that same $3 in annual dividend income. Does that kind of make sense? Hopefully it does. And hopefully that sort of paints a picture as to why it can be a good thing when these stocks go down in share price. Now, getting into some more of the dividend stats, guys, going back over here, we already established that you're getting $3.16 per share per year. But in terms of the dividend yield, that equates to a 2.28% dividend yield, which is also very average, pretty much like what we saw with Williams-Sonoma a few moments ago. Okay, the payout ratio is also very low here, near 27%, very nice. And the 5-year growth rate, pretty decent, 6%. And one of the great things about Stanley Black & Decker, one of the reasons this company could be a really great investment, is because they have a very solid dividend growth history. They've been growing their dividend for 53 consecutive years, which makes this company a dividend king, which for those of you who don't know, a dividend king is a company in the S&P 500 that has been growing their dividend for 50 consecutive years. Now, I did another discounted cash flow calculation to try and find the fair value of SWK. And as you guys can see on the screen, this one also looks to to be a little bit undervalued. But with these numbers plugged in, it looks like Stanley Black & Decker is at a 4.5% discount, which is not too much of a discount. Definitely not as discounted as we saw Williams-Sonoma at, but still discounted nonetheless, so I'll take it. All right, guys, now those were the two stocks I really wanted to focus on today that I think are looking like some pretty good buys as we make our way into the month of April. But there are still some other great stocks out there on the market that do have some potential that I think you should keep your eye on. The first of which is 3M right here. Now, 3M has been a hot topic in the dividend investing community because they are a legendary company, number one, but they're also at a pretty nice discount. In the last year, they're down over 20%, guys. But with that, they've actually seen kind of a jump in the last 30 days. They're up nearly 6% just in the last month, but still, I think it's looking like a pretty good value. I've been buying it, the last few weeks I've been picking up some shares of 3M. But guys, it's an iconic dividend stock. It's a great company, and right now they have a 4% dividend yield. So it's a high yielder, and they are also, like Stanley Black & Decker, a dividend king with 63 years of consecutive dividend growth. The second stock is Intel, which I know has been on a lot of your guys' buy lists out there. And in the last year, Intel is down almost 17%. They've been at a pretty good discount for some time. But like with 3M, they've seen a really big jump in the last month, guys, a huge jump of 16%. And I liked Intel a lot better under $50 per share. I think we saw it get as low as like $45 or $44 recently. But you know what? I don't mind it at its current share price, $51.50. It's really not too bad. I think Intel still has some growth coming its way. It might take a couple years to get there, but I wouldn't mind buying it at these prices currently. In fact, I might pick up some more shares in April as well. All right, guys, the next stock I think you should keep your eye on is Philip Morris, ticker symbol PM, and it's up a little bit in the last year, up 5%, but in the last 30 days, guys, they're down almost 11.5%. So this company is kind of making its way down, which is good to see, and it's also a very high yielding company with a forward dividend yield of 5.4%. All right, guys, the fourth stock to keep your eye on is another legendary dividend stock, Kimberly-Clark, which is in the consumer staples sector. They make a lot of paper products like toilet paper, paper towels, all that jazz. And we can see here that they're getting very close to a new 52-week low and might hit it if they keep going on this downward trajectory. But the company still has some room to come down, to be honest with you guys. The PE ratio is 20.33. So I would like to see Kimberly-Clark get a little bit cheaper before I consider pulling the trigger on it. All right, guys, moving on to the last stock I think you need to keep your eye on. This one is Starbucks, and it wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't mention this company. I've been talking about it a lot, and I've actually gotten a couple comments about it. But Starbucks, guys, it's making its way down. It usually sits above $100 per share. I'd like to see it continue going back down, like get back under 80, but I definitely think it's one to watch out for. And actually, if you guys want to learn more about Starbucks as a potential investment, I just put out this video right up over here, really diving deep into it. So definitely check that out. And also, if you guys want to see more dividend stock investing content from me in the future, hit the subscribe button right over here. I'd love to have you guys follow me along on my dividend investing journey. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.